I come from a sort of a business background, and the business world learned quite a long time ago that actually bringing decent people into the decision-making environment and into was a really good thing, and actually strengthens an organisation, and that different views, different experiences, different life experiences actually really add to an organisation. And I think that the academic world, education, and the rest of the world is sort of catching up on that now. And there's really beginning to understand how involving different people, and that isn't just sort of at the management side, but also that it's important for, on the student side, that they all have the opportunity and feel that they have the opportunity, whether regardless of their ethnic background, their gender, their sexuality, their religion, whoever they are, that they have the same opportunities to succeed and to take advantages of the sort of the education environment. So that's where I think it's on both sides, but certainly in the sort of decision-making area when you're working together, that it really helps to have diverse views. Well, as the governor responsible for diversity and inclusion, we've started to look at ways. It's sort of been a journey that we're going on, and we want to actually make sure that the college is very inclusive, that we respect, and that there is, as I said, the opportunities for all that are there, and that the college also sees itself as a role within the community, to be sort of sending out a message, a clear message that actually the diversity and inclusion and equality is all really important. So I joined, I started getting involved with the college through, we put on LGBT History Month, which is the month of February, when it's an opportunity to celebrate, acknowledge and recognise that the work that lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual members of the community have actually brought. And we started this 3 years ago, and I sort of came on board and said, would the college like to do something? So we raised the rainbow flag at the beginning of the month, and we've brought in speakers and held certain events through the college through the course of that month. At the end of the month, we brought in a speaker. First year it was James Wharton, who had served in the army alongside Prince Harry in Afghanistan. A gay man, he talked about his experiences. Then this last year we had Matthew Todd, who's the editor of Attitude magazine, and he came down and talked about his own personal issues with coming to terms with his sexuality and mental health, and that was very important, I think, in an environment within the college. This year, from that, I was actually invited to there was a vacancy within the board, and I was invited to join the board, and it sort of went from there that I then was asked, would I like to take on the role of governor responsible for diversity and inclusion. And so this year, just last week, we raised the rainbow flag, and in addition to staff and students coming along, we had the mayors of various towns, leaders of various parish councils, we had the chairs of some of the district councils, Mid Devon, East Devon, the principals of various local schools as well as the police, and so it became much more of a sort of, as we wanted to do, a community event, and that they were acknowledging what Petroc was actually doing in that. So that's been one of my sort of areas that I sit on the Search and Governance Committee to make sure there is sort of, just to sort of remind people that when we're looking at things, that we need to actually make sure that we are giving a fair, open opportunity to everyone, and that we are looking to see how we can ensure that the diverse makeup of the board is important. There's also a staff group that I sit on, and that is sort of looking towards, you know, supporting the staff and again making sure that all elements of the staff are actually supported. It's just having someone there with a voice and just making sure. I know that they've said that they really appreciate having a governor coming along to those those meetings. I'm just thinking the one that we had recently with the staff, and it brought up issues around disability, and that there is a member of staff who uses a wheelchair. She was there talking, but it was my own because I've got friends who, having worked with disabled groups, it's made me much more aware of issues about accessibility. I was just the other day I was just driving my car along, and I noticed that we've got speed bumps, and I mentioned to the member staff, and I said, I saw you trying to go over those speed bumps in your wheelchair, and she said, yes, this is really difficult. Therefore, we've started to talk about, well, if there are rooms that need to be moved, that we make sure that if the member of staff is teaching, that there is accessibility to that room, either through a lift, or it's not in one of the rooms where they have to it's difficult to get to. So I suppose that is just one sort of practical way that we've raised the issue. But whether, and I think it's hard to put your finger on it and say that wouldn't have been done if I hadn't been there. But it is actually just having somebody in debates to bring up the issues that are important, to remind others that we have a duty and we have a responsibility to make sure that we are keeping diversity on the agenda. And I think it's significant that the college has sort of asked me to take on this role, that it is showing that it recognises the importance of this. North Devon, Barnstable, has an organisation called North Devon Sunrise, and I've been involved with that now for about the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm a director, one of the trustees of the organisation. It's the Diversity Festival, interestingly enough, it's about, it came about through a group of sort of migrant workers to the area who felt very isolated, and they wanted something a way of sort of coming together and having a bit of, that they didn't feel so alone. That has now grown into where the festival itself, which is an annual festival held each summer in Barnstable, one weekend. This year it'll be the 30th of June. Last year we had over 3,000 people come to it. And it is a celebration of all the different types of diversity within the community. So in an area like North Devon, or Northern Devon, because it covers the Torridge area as well, where you think that we might not be so diverse, actually you'd be really surprised at how many different groups there are, from Chinese through Bangladeshi, through Polish, Lithuanian, Romanian, Bulgarian. Then there are individuals who have sort of come, but there are actually small communities. But then also we acknowledge the LGBT community. So this year there'll be a pride parade at the beginning of the festival. Disabled, so disability. There's a wheelchair challenge where people are actually invited to try and do sort of navigate some of the things that a person in the wheelchair has to do every day, but themselves in the wheelchair. And this year we had our MP come along and sit or rather last year had the MP do that. And it was really good at sort of raising awareness of another part of our community. And it is a real sort of celebration of just all the different diverse parts. So you have music, dancing. I mean, there's one lady who, about 30 years ago, she married a farmer out in the sticks in somewhere in North Devon. She came from Mali. Her and her sister teach African dance, and they have a little dance group now of ladies from the local villages. And they came on and put on a sort of a dance at the beginning of the festival. Different groups from schools singing. I mean, it's just a very, and it's a sort of a blueprint for rural communities of how we can work and how, that we are very diverse. Everybody thinks that, well, no, we're not, we're all the same, but we're not. There's a lot of diversity in our communities. One of I think the message that we've been sending out to the community as well is that Petrock respects diversity, and that it is a place that would welcome students and staff and board members from diverse backgrounds. So I think that is also a positive move. I know, for instance, that that a friend of mine or a person that I know who's disabled has actually said that they'd be quite interested to become involved with as an external governor on the board. And that is, hopefully it will make the college more open to the different groups, and the people who feel that actually that is a place that I could be, that's somewhere that you know, because too often we say, actually I don't want to be a part of that because I don't think that it doesn't look like me, and therefore I'm not going to even put myself forward. And so it goes right across, you know, across the board, staff and students, because if people start to see people looking a bit more like them, then they are prepared to say, oh, actually that's a college I'd like to be a part of. So yes, I think what we're doing in North Devon is really making the case for that even in areas where you think there isn't much diversity, there is, and that we should be encouraging and supporting that.